What if I told you that right before your greatest breakthrough, right before you finally step into the version of yourself you've been working toward, life will put you through the most intense challenge you've ever faced? And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Most fail right here. They don't fail because they are weak. They don't fail because they are unworthy. They fail because they don't recognize what's happening. They think it's just random bad luck. They think it's a sign they should quit. They think it's proof that the universe is against them. But it's not. This is the final test before your spiritual upgrade, before your next level of awareness, peace, and personal power. If you are listening to this right now, there is a real chance that you are approaching yours. Spiritual growth is not about how many books you have read or how many hours you've spent meditating. It's not about how well you can explain concepts like non-attachment or vibration to your friends. It's about embodiment. It's about living your truth even when it costs you something. It's about holding peace when the world around you feels like it's falling apart. And the final test is the moment life checks to see if you're truly ready to live at that level. What makes it tricky is that the final test will never announce itself. You will not hear a voice saying, "This is it." It might come disguised as an ordinary challenge, or it might come disguised as a blessing that slowly turns into a temptation. And because of that, most people sleepwalk right through it and end up back where they started. In this video, you are going to learn what the final test actually is, why most people fail here, how to recognize it when it shows up in your life, and most importantly, how to pass it. By the end, you will have a mental map you can carry with you so that when your final test comes, you will know exactly what is happening and what to do. Part 1. The journey of spiritual growth. Every spiritual journey begins with a spark. For some, it's a painful breakup. For others, it's a conversation or a book that shakes their reality. For others still, it's a quiet moment in nature where they suddenly realize that life is deeper, more mysterious, and more beautiful than they ever imagined. This is the first stage, awakening. It feels exciting, liberating, even intoxicating. You start seeing life differently. Old habits feel heavy. Your priorities shift. You feel like you've discovered a hidden truth no one told you about. There's a sense of magic in the air. Then comes a second stage, the work. This is where you start unlearning and relearning. You begin to look inward. You heal old wounds. You forgive those who hurt you, and maybe for the first time, you forgive yourself. You start catching your own patterns. You notice when you react from fear instead of love. You start to see how you've been shaping your own reality. And then comes the third stage, the plateau. Here, growth slows down. You feel stuck, even though you've come far. The big breakthroughs are less frequent. The excitement of the beginning fades. This is the stage where many quit. They think they've gone as far as they can, and they slip back into their old ways. But if you keep going, you reach the fourth stage, integration. In this stage, the lessons you've learned are no longer just ideas. They're part of you. You no longer have to force yourself to pause before reacting. You just do it naturally. You no longer have to try to be kind. It flows from you without effort. You start living the truth you've learned without needing to think about it. And then, when you're right at the edge of moving into a completely new level of consciousness, a new way of living and perceiving, that's when it happens. Part 2. The nature of the final test. The final test is not about proving something to the universe. It is about proving something to yourself. It is designed to reveal the one thing still holding you back, the one attachment you thought you'd let go of but haven't, the one fear you thought you transcended but still controls you. The final test is custom-made. If you've always feared being alone, you might suddenly find yourself in deep isolation. If you've always needed approval, You might suddenly be misunderstood or judged by those whose opinions matter most to you. If you've always clung to security, you might suddenly face the risk of losing it. And here's what makes it so difficult. The test usually comes when you feel the most ready. Why? Because that is the only time you have enough strength and awareness to actually pass it. It might show up as chaos, loss, betrayal, or even temptation disguised as opportunity. It might feel like everything you've worked for is being threatened. But the truth is, nothing real can be taken from you. The test is not about removing what's yours. It's about refining it. Part 3. Immersive guided reflection. Imagine this for a moment. You've been working towards something for years, not just a goal, but a vision of who you want to be. You've done the inner work. You've grown. You're calmer, wiser, stronger. Life feels lighter. And then, out of nowhere, something happens. Maybe it's a sudden setback that shakes your foundation. Maybe it's someone you trusted turning against you. Maybe it's a huge opportunity that could solve all your problems, but deep down, you know it's not truly aligned with your values. You feel the emotions rise: fear, anger, doubt. You want to protect yourself. You want to react. You want to make the discomfort go away as quickly as possible. Right here, you have two paths. The first path, you react from the old you. You cling to what feels safe. You compromise your values for short-term relief. You justify it by saying you had no choice. And maybe life goes back to normal for a while, but the upgrade, it slips away quietly. The second path, you feel the fear, but you don't bow to it. You stay aligned with what you know is true for you, even if it costs you something in the short term. You trust that what's meant for you will never require you to betray yourself. It's not the easier path, but it is the path that transforms you. Part 4. Why most fail. Here, most fail the final test for one of a few reasons. Ego reattachment. Somewhere along the way, they start believing they've arrived. They forget that growth is endless. Fear of loss. They cling to the familiar rather than risk stepping into the unknown. Distraction. They let the noise of life pull them out of presence. Spiritual bypassing. They try to avoid facing the challenge by covering it with positive thinking, pretending they've already transcended it. The final test will expose any gap between what you know and how you live. If that gap is still there, the test will make it obvious. Part 5. How to recognize and pass the final test. You recognize the final test by its weight. It will feel personal. It will feel like it strikes at the core of who you are. And it will demand a choice that reveals your true priorities. To pass it, you must stay grounded. Keep up your practices, meditation, journaling, conscious breathing. Notice your triggers. They are not enemies. They are signposts pointing to the very thing you need to release. Don't rush decisions when you are in an emotional storm. Give yourself time and the space to see clearly. Act in alignment with your highest self, even if it costs you something in the short term. Remember, the test is not about winning in the external world. It is about staying true internally. The final test is not here to punish you. It is here to prepare you. If you fail, it's not the end. The lesson will return until you are ready to pass it. Each attempt will make you stronger, more aware, more grounded. But if you pass, something shifts forever. You no longer just know the truth, you live it. And that changes everything. Stay aware, stay humble, stay aligned. Because when your moment comes, I want you to recognize it. And I want to see you on the other side.